Assessors must be able to analyze competency requirements. This lesson provides guidance to assessors about analyzing competency requirements. You will be introduced to the role and function of an assessor. You will be introduced to the various activities within assessment process and assessment methods. You will be introduced to occupational standards. You will learn how to use the standard to start filling out the final assessment record sheet. You will learn how to use units from the standard to help you fill out the assessment plan, and you will learn how to use the duties in a job description are useful in the assessment process. A job description is a written explanation that outlines the essential responsibilities and requirements for a position. A job description is a narrative that describes the general tasks, or other related duties, and responsibilities of a position. The duties and responsibilities of a job are the tasks an employee in that position should complete regularly. Looking at the job description for an assessor, it states an assessor is someone who supports and assesses students working towards a vocational qualification within a college, training center, or workplace. It's an assessor's job to ensure that trainees meet the occupational standards required to achieve their qualifications. The role and function of an assessor is to gather and judge evidence about the performance of individuals, against the criteria for what people must know, be able to do and show, within the context and as specified in the skill standard. The key stages in the assessment process are planning the assessment, gathering evidence of competency, judging the evidence, providing feedback, recording the result and reviewing the assessment. Common assessment methods include practical observation, role-play/simulation, oral questions, short answer questions, restrictive essay, case study, and projects. Occupational standards are statements about the skills, knowledge, and attitude required to perform jobs based on industry specifications. Standards reflect the minimum acceptable level and quality of performance. To download a copy of the occupational standard for this course, go to the NTA website and scroll down to and click on Occupational Standards, then scroll down to and click on Download Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ, scroll down to and click on Education and click on Assessment Level 4. You will find the standard for your assessment in a similar way. Caribbean vocational qualifications are competency-based approach to training, assessment, and certification. Candidates are expected to demonstrate competence in attaining occupational standards developed by practitioners, industry experts, and employers. CVQ standards, when approved by CARICOM, allow for easy movement across the region. Trinidad and Tobago national vocational qualifications are based on national occupational standards. Industry experts come together to define the standards for top performance in their industries. These standards are then translated to the curriculum and assessment procedures developed to encompass the standards identified. A lead body is a committee of stakeholders of an occupational sector who develop occupational standards of competence at different levels. Vocational qualifications have different levels. The assessment CVQ you are studying is at level 4. That means a successful candidate can perform the role of a specialized or supervisory worker in the field of assessment. Always create assessments suitable for the level of the vocational qualification. The key features of competency-based education and training are, it is learner-centered, this course is self-paced. It utilizes innovative delivery. This course is delivered online and distance and involves a project. It is work-oriented. This course teaches how to prepare for and conduct an actual assessment. It is based on occupational standards. This course is based on the occupational standard for assessment, level 4. And finally, competency-based education and training are based on skills, knowledge, and having a professional attitude. Occupational standards are statements about the skills, knowledge, and attitude required to perform jobs based on industry specifications. Standards reflect the minimum acceptable level and quality of performance. The Assessment Level 4 standard is being used for this course. Each standard has a unique code. On the first page, there is a list of the units in the standard. This standard has 19 units. 8 units are mandatory and candidates must complete a minimum 2 of the 11 elective units. Analyzing competency requirements is one of the elective units. Each unit of the standard reflects a function or duty within the occupational area. Each unit has a unique code. The elements within the units are tasks to accomplish the duty. The performance criteria define the details of what tasks require. The range statement in the unit is meant to specify the scope or circumstances that have a critical impact on the activity when carrying out the performance criteria. These are the situations within which candidates are expected to demonstrate competence. The critical aspects of evidence section of the unit identifies the key assessment evidence to be collected. The underpinning knowledge and skills section identifies the fundamental principles, methodologies, and skills required by the candidate achieve competence. And the method of assessment section indicates the suitable evidence collection options for the unit. The context of assessment section refers to where the competency can be assessed. The options are either on-the-job assessments or simulated environments. Critical employability skills refers the generic competencies that underlie all work. These include the collection, analysis, and organization of information, the communication of ideas and information, planning and organizing activities, working in a team, using mathematical ideas and techniques, solving problems, and using technology. And now we introduce the first form. The final assessment record sheet is a summary of the evidence collected after the candidate has been assessed. Refer to the student's manual for details on completing and submitting this project. You are required to download your standard from the NTA website and the template of the final assessment record sheet. Review your standard and use the information to insert the unit codes, element numbers, and where the X should be in the performance criteria. Next, we use the assessment plan to delve deeper into the unit. The assessment plan is intended for use by assessors as part of the assessment planning process with candidates. The occupational standards we have used tend to have a lot of repetition in the range statements and in the underpinning knowledge and skills. You are not expected to repeat that. Refer to the student's manual for details on completing and submitting this project. You are required to download your standard from the NTA website and the template of the assessment plan. Review your standard and use the information to insert the underpinning knowledge and skills as well as the range of your assessment. The ranges in some of the standards can be repetitive. You will need to edit them for use in your documents, but ensure you include everything that applies to your assessment. Formative assessments are used to monitor student learning to provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructors to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning. More specifically, formative assessments help students identify their strengths and weaknesses and target areas that need work. There is no grade awarded.